This is Daily Armenia, ＳիվiլNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. Jailed Russian Armenian billionaire Samvel Karapetyan will personally lead a new political movement bearing his name, his nephew and Taşe Group Vice President Narek Karapetyan announced yesterday. Speaking outside the Echmiadzin Cathedral, Narek Karapetyan said the tycoon would serve as both political and ideological head of the emerging team. He stressed that their platform would follow Samvel Karapetyan's vision, with team members chosen for their professional qualifications. Samvel Karapetyan, who was arrested last month and charged with public calls to seize power, is not exclusively an Armenian national. He also holds Russian citizenship, which makes him ineligible for holding high office under Armenia's constitution. It requires prime ministerial candidates to have held only Armenian citizenship and resided in Armenia for the past 4 years. Narek Karapetyan declined to answer whether former Prime Minister Karen Karapetyan would be nominated as the new movement's candidate for Prime Minister. The former premier has been mentioned in the media as a possible contender. Despite sharing the same last name, he is not related to Samvel or Narek Karapetyan. Samvel Karapetyan's allies call the charges politically motivated, following his public support for the Armenian Apostolic Church and criticism of Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. His arrest was soon followed by the government's move to nationalize the electricity networks of Armenia, his largest asset in the country. Iran has urged Armenia and Azerbaijan to intensify efforts towards finalizing a normalization deal, warning that prolonged delays could trigger renewed tensions in the South Caucasus, the Iranian Foreign Ministry said during a briefing today. We have always emphasized the need to accelerate the signing of a peace agreement and believe that prolonging the process is unhelpful and may lead to renewed regional tensions, said Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghei. He added that Tehran's position remains unchanged and called on both sides to seriously engage in finalizing the deal. Baghei also reiterated Iran's long-standing support for reopening regional transit and communication routes, saying such projects could boost economic ties between regional states. However, he emphasized that these routes must never contradict the national sovereignty or territorial integrity of the countries involved and should not alter the region's geopolitics or internationally recognized borders. He also referenced the recent US proposal to lease a strip of land in Armenia's Sunik region that could connect Azerbaijan with its Nakhichevan exclave, a solution Baku has sought for decades. Baghei warned that the entry of extra-regional actors is detrimental to peace and stability. We do not consider it to be in the interest of regional security and development, he said, noting that Tehran is in close contact with both Yerevan and Baku and is monitoring the situation closely. Iran has consistently expressed concern over foreign military or diplomatic involvement in the South Caucasus, especially amid increasing Western engagement in Armenia-Azerbaijan normalization talks. Tehran has sought to position itself as a regional stakeholder and opposes any infrastructure or political arrangements that could isolate it or diminish its influence along its northern border. As a heatwave fuels wildfires across southeastern Europe, including Turkey and Cyprus, Armenia has also faced serious outbreaks. Over the weekend, a blaze erupted in the Ararat province, burning parts of the Khosrow Forest State Reserve. Armenia's Interior Ministry announced today that the fire had been extinguished with the help of firefighting helicopters, police, forest rangers, and local volunteers. Meanwhile, more severe wildfires have been burning in Nagorno-Karabakh since early last week and have not yet been contained. Azerbaijani forces that control the region acknowledge that they have so far been unable to cope with the disaster. Firefighting operations are being hampered by difficult terrain and strong winds, the country's emergency ministry said in a statement on Thursday. The exiled Armenian government of Karabakh warned that the fires pose a serious threat to the region's historical and cultural heritage. It is said that around 100 monuments are at risk, including the Amaras monastery complex. Azerbaijan must abide by international law and conventions on the protection of cultural heritage and ensure the preservation of cultural and natural heritage in the territories under its control. It must take urgent measures to extinguish the fires and to restore the damage caused, the exiled government said in a statement. It also urged international bodies and relevant organizations to assess the situation and take meaningful action to preserve Karabakh's Armenian heritage. Yesterday, Armenia celebrated Vardava, a lively summer festival where people splash each other with water in the streets using buckets or water guns. As usual, large celebrations took place in downtown Yerevan, where thousands of people doused one another in a joyful, citywide water fight. Although the tradition is widely believed to have pagan roots and is now an official holiday of the Armenian Apostolic Church, the festival has largely lost its religious meaning. Once a symbolic ritual, water dousing is now a playful tradition that lets people relax and break social norms in a light-hearted way. And as always, please follow SivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.